Today's episode of Judge Judy opens with the familiar theme music and the commanding voice of the narrator that instantly draws viewers into the drama of another real-life dispute. The camera sweeps across the bustling hallway outside the courtroom as the narrator begins. Today on Judge Judy, it's a battle of roommates and rent money gone missing. She says she paid him $1,200 in cash for their apartment, but instead of paying the landlord, he spent it on sneakers and parties. He says she's lying and only gave him $500. Who's telling the truth? Judge Judy is about to find out. The doors open and the bailiff announces, "Order, all rise. This is case number 3117, Samantha Johnson versus Kevin Miller." Samantha walks in, clutching a thick envelope of documents, her expression serious and slightly anxious, but also fueled by a strong determination to finally get justice. Kevin enters with a casual swagger, hands in pockets, looking almost amused, as if this entire process is beneath him. He smirks toward the audience, clearly underestimating the gravity of the situation. Then the door to the chambers opens, and Judge Judy makes her iconic entrance, her black robe flowing as she marches to the bench, her sharp eyes already scanning the litigants before a word is spoken. She takes her seat and immediately asserts control. "All right, let's get started. Ms. Johnson, you are suing Mr. Miller for $1,200. Tell me why you are here." Samantha clears her throat and begins to explain. Her voice trembles slightly at first, but grows stronger as she lays out her story. "Your Honor, Kevin and I were roommates for almost a year. Every month I gave him my share of the rent in cash. We agreed that he would collect both our portions and pay the landlord directly. Last month, I handed him $1,200, my full half of the rent, in cash. A week later, I got an eviction notice taped to our door. When I asked him about it, he said the money was gone. Just gone. He couldn't explain how." Judy leans forward immediately, eyes narrowed. "Nobody just loses $1,200. You either paid it or you didn't. Which one is it?" Samantha hands the eviction notice to the bailiff, who delivers it to Judy. "This is the notice. Your Honor, and here are text messages. I sent him when I found it. He told me not to worry, that he would figure it out, but he never did. Meanwhile, I almost got thrown out of my apartment." Judy begins flipping through the papers, lips pursed, clearly unimpressed with what she's hearing from Kevin so far. "All right, let's hear from him in a minute," she says, before turning back to Samantha. "Did you have any proof you gave him the money?" Samantha nods and produces bank withdrawal slips. "Yes, Your Honor. I withdrew the exact $1,200 in cash the day before I gave it to him. I have the slips here." She hands them over, her hand shaking slightly, but her eyes locked on Kevin with anger. Judy examines the slips, nods slowly, then sets them aside. "So, you gave him cash. He says he lost it, and in the same week, he's walking around with new sneakers." Samantha nods emphatically. "Yes, Your Honor. He bought a pair that cost $800. He bragged about them on social media. I printed screenshots of that too." The audience chuckles quietly, and Judy shoots them a look that silences the room instantly. "All right, Mr. Miller. Don't get too comfortable. You're going to have some explaining to do. Let's hear from you." The tension is already building as the camera zooms in on Kevin, who leans forward in his chair, preparing to defend himself with a smug grin. But Judy's eyes bore into him, making it clear that his charm won't work here. Kevin finally begins to speak, his casual tone clashing with the seriousness of the courtroom as he tries to paint himself as the victim of an overreaction. "Your Honor," he says, leaning forward, his smirk almost provoking. "I didn't steal anything. Samantha never gave me $1,200. She only handed me $500, and I added the rest from my own savings. I took that money to the landlord like I always do, but for some reason, the landlord says he never got it. I don't know why, but that's not my fault. I did what I was supposed to do. Judy immediately cuts him off, her tone sharp and unforgiving. Stop. Did you or did you not get a receipt from the landlord after you allegedly paid him? Kevin fidgets, looking down at his hands. No, I usually just give him the money directly. We don't do receipts. Judy slams her pen on the desk. That's not how it works. You hand over money, you get a receipt. The reason you don't have one is because you didn't pay him. Period. Samantha interjects, her voice shaking with frustration. He's lying, Your Honor. He spent the money on himself. He bought sneakers and went out partying. I almost lost my home because of him. Kevin rolls his eyes dramatically, muttering under his breath, "Oh, please. She's being so dramatic." Judy's head whips toward him, her eyes flashing. Do not roll your eyes at me, young man. This is my courtroom, and you will treat it with respect. Now answer me. Did you or did you not buy sneakers that week? Kevin shifts uncomfortably. Yes, but that was with my own money, not hers. Judy raises an eyebrow, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Your own money? Really? The same week you supposedly lost $1,200 in cash. You magically had $800 lying around for sneakers? Do you think I was born yesterday? The audience bursts into laughter at the sharpness of her words, but Judy slams her hand on the desk, instantly restoring order. Kevin tries to regain control, his voice rising. She's just mad because I moved out and didn't tell her. That's what this is really about. She's making up this story because she's jealous and wants to make me look bad. Judy's glare intensifies. Nobody cares about your living arrangements or who you decide to move in with. This isn't about your personal drama. This is about $1,200 that doesn't belong to you, and right now, you are failing miserably to explain where it went. She flips through the eviction notice again, shaking her head. The landlord says no rent was received. That means nobody misplaced anything. You never paid it. Kevin stammers. But, Judy interrupts. Don't but me. I don't like liars. And you're starting to sound like one. The audience murmurs, sensing the defendant is losing ground fast. Samantha crosses her arms, watching with a mix of anger and relief as Judy dismantles Kevin's excuses piece by piece. The tension in the courtroom grows thicker as Judy prepares to push harder, her eyes narrowing like a hunter, closing in on her prey. Judge Judy leans forward, her voice calm, but cutting as she begins the cross-examination that will determine the truth. Mr. Miller, let's go step by step, because your story is falling apart like wet tissue paper. She gives you $1,200 correct. Kevin shakes his head quickly. No, only $500. Judy ignores the interruption, continuing, relentlessly. She gives you $1,200. You say you put it in your backpack. Then what? Kevin mutters. I left it at my friend Jason's place. And when I went back, the money was gone. Judy slams her pen down again, her patience razor thin. That is the dumbest excuse I've heard all week. And trust me, I hear plenty of them. Who is this Jason? Kevin hesitates, scratching his head. Jason. He's a friend. But he moved to Florida recently. Judy throws her hands up dramatically. Florida? Oh, please. That's not even creative. Do you expect me to call the state of Florida and ask if a Jason has your backpack with $1,200 inside? The audience erupts in laughter again, and Judy silences them with a glare before turning back to Kevin. You're insulting my intelligence, and that is not a good strategy in my courtroom. Samantha jumps in passionately. Your Honor, I texted him when I got the eviction notice, and he literally wrote back, "Don't worry, I'll figure it out." Why would he say that if he didn't have the money? She pulls out her phone and shows Judy the screen. The bailiff takes it and hands it to Judy, who reads the message aloud in her sharp, theatrical style. "Don't worry, I'll figure it out." She sets the phone down and looks directly at Kevin, her voice slicing through the air like a blade. "Figure what out? If you didn't have the money, what exactly were you planning to figure out? Because to me, that sounds like someone who took rent money and realized they were caught." Kevin tries to raise his voice, defensive and angry. "She's just jealous of me. That's what this is. She's trying to ruin my life because I don't want to live with her anymore." Judy snaps, her tone now thunderous. "Nobody cares about jealousy. Nobody cares about your personal drama. This courtroom is about facts. And the facts are, she has withdrawal slips, she has an eviction notice, she has text messages, and you have nothing but sneakers and excuses." The audience bursts into applause, cheering Judy's sharp words, but she silences them again with a single raised finger. She turns back to Kevin, her voice low and final. "You had no receipt, no proof of payment, no witness to this so-called Jason, and the only thing you've admitted to is buying $800 sneakers during the exact same week you allegedly lost her money. Do you think anyone here believes you? Because I don't. And in case you haven't figured it out yet, my opinion is the only one that matters." The camera zooms in on Kevin's face, now red with embarrassment and defeat, as the weight of the truth presses down on him. The audience watches in silence, knowing the verdict is about to drop. Judge Judy leans back in her chair, her expression calm but final, her voice carrying the weight of undeniable authority. "Mr. Miller, I'm going to make this very simple for you. You are not clever, you are not slick, and you are not fooling me. You took her rent money and you spent it. Maybe it was on sneakers, maybe it was on nights out, maybe it was just plain irresponsibility, but the fact remains you never paid the landlord. Ms. Johnson almost lost her home because of you, and you think this is some kind of joke. Well, I don't joke about other people's money. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,200. That's all." She slams the gavel, and the audience bursts into applause as Samantha lets out a relieved sigh, her shoulders finally relaxing after weeks of stress. Kevin shakes his head, muttering under his breath, "This is ridiculous." But Judy cuts him off with a sharp glare. "Don't say another word. Case closed." The theme music plays as the camera cuts to the narrator's voice. Once again, Judge Judy cuts through the lies and delivers justice. In the world outside, people can make excuses. But in this courtroom, excuses don't pay the rent. Only the truth matters. The camera follows Samantha as she leaves the courtroom, smiling and wiping away tears of relief. Outside, during the post-case interviews, she tells the interviewer, "I'm just glad it's over. I knew he was lying, but it feels good to have someone finally believe me. I can move forward now." The interviewer then turns to Kevin, who shrugs, his voice dismissive. "It's whatever. She got what she wanted, I guess." The audience outside reacts with murmurs of disapproval, and the narrator closes the episode with one final message. Another day, another case, another reminder that in Judge Judy's courtroom, the truth always wins, and excuses are left at the door. The screen fades to black, the credits roll, and the theme music carries viewers out of the courtroom, leaving them with yet another unforgettable lesson from television's toughest judge.